Hi, my name is Natalie, and today I'm going to be talking about Oz's character arc in Pandora Hearts. Not even a full 2 days ago, I released a video about Christian imagery in Pandora Hearts, and I was shocked to find that it already has 30 views. So thank you so much to the 30 people that watched that video. I made that video mostly because I was interested in the material, not so much because I thought that people would enjoy it that much. So I am so happy that you guys are really enjoying the Pandora Hearts stuff that I'm coming out with. And I will continue to keep making Pandora Hearts if you guys keep watching it. So thank you so much, and here's another Pandora Hearts video for you. In this video, I'm going to be talking about Oz. Now, Oz is the main character, per se, in Pandora Hearts. There are a lot of other characters that could be considered main characters, but most of the story follows Oz in his misadventures throughout the entire part of him in the abyss, and then up into the world again, and all of the different things that he gets along with his friends and with the organization Pandora and everything that happens. So there will be a lot about Oz in this video. That being said, Oz is a very complex character, and I need to put this out there now. There will be spoilers for Oz's character, and as I said in the Christian imagery video, you might think that you know everything about Oz at the beginning. You might think that you know everything about Pandora Hearts. Even if you're halfway through, you're gonna say, I know enough to watch this video about the main character. I think I know enough. You don't. I'm just saying that now. You don't. So please, this is a spoiler warning for anyone who has not finished all of the Pandora Hearts books and all of the manga series or has watched all of the anime. Please take this spoiler warning into consideration, even if you think you know everything. You don't. Thank you. Now that I hope that I've sufficiently explained the spoiler warning, we can finally talk about Oz. Oz is, as I said, the main character of Pandora Hearts, and a lot of the stories follow him, and a lot of the arcs follow his character, sometimes indirectly, and you don't really understand it fully until the end. And even then, as I say, you have to put a lot of pieces together, because the story is extremely complex. Jun Makazuki wrote an amazing story with this, and you don't fully appreciate it until it's over, and even then you have to kind of think about it. And Oz is one of those characters where you have to think about him as well. He's not just a character that stays static throughout the entirety of all the book series. He is there for every moment, but maybe in some indirect ways, and he changes so drastically throughout the course of the Pandora Hearts series that it's incredible. And the ending of Pandora Hearts, you want to cry so much for him because he just changes so much, and you feel so happy and so bad for him at the same time. And if you've read Pandora Hearts and you've read that ending, you know what I'm talking about. It's this amazing feeling that you get when Oz says that he finally can cry because he is happy. And that quote just hit me so hard because it's just so beautiful. And I feel like in this world right now, where we're living with a global pandemic, where we're living with violence and a lot of other things that are happening in our world right now, that this message is so important right now and just so beautiful to understand. And I feel like people kind of need a Pandora Hearts in their lives right now, kind of need to understand Oz's character, and that if we can all be like that eventually, that everything will be okay in the end. And I feel like that is the thesis of Oz's character, that things are going to be hard and life is going to be tough. But in the end, everything is going to be okay in one way or another. And we will get through this together with friends, with family. And I feel like that is Oz's character in a nutshell. So that's the overall view that I would say is Oz's character. So that is my overall take on Oz. Now I'm going to dive into more specifics about him that I feel like people should know. The main thing about Oz is at the beginning of the story, you can see that he has very deep depression. Jun Makizuki has said that Oz is clinically depressed and that is a real mental illness that he is dealing with. He does have depression. And you can see it at the beginning in the way that he interacts with all the other characters, most especially Gil. Gil is such an instrumental figure in his life. Gil is his servant, but Oz sees him as his best friend, and he absolutely loves the attention that Gil spends with him and gives him, and he is so thankful to Gil that he can always be there for him. Now, Oz gets into a lot of trouble, and he's kind of a mean kid. He kind of bullies Gil around, but Gil always goes with it because he and Oz are the two that do everything together. They are as close as brothers could ever be. And I feel like I would be amiss if I didn't talk about Gil when I'm talking about Oz's character arc. Gil is an instrumental figure in Oz's life, and without him, Oz simply would not be the character that he is. And I feel like that's really, really important to understand. Additionally, with dealing with depression, Oz is mistreated by his father on so many different levels, and I just find it to be so painful that his father is the one that passed judgment upon him, threw him into the abyss, and basically started this whole story. It's not really fair to Oz to be treated in this way, and here's the main thing about Oz. He doesn't know who he is, but as a character and as the Oz that we know, he is a beautifully written character. Now, here's the thing about Oz that needs to be understood. Oz himself is a bunny. Just gonna put that bluntly out there. Oz is a bunny. His personality, everything that makes him who he is a bunny. There's literally nothing else I could say about this to make it more clear. He's a bunny, and that's Oz. There is so much to be packed in Oz's character, specifically because he was a bunny, and then he was put into a human body, and that human body ends up being Jack's body. So Jack is kind of possessing Oz, but in an indirect way, because he's living in Oz's body, or Oz is living in his body. It's really complicated. Do you see how this is going? Anyway, besides the complication that Oz is somewhat Jack and Jack is somewhat Oz, and they're all kind of mismatched, the Oz that we know at the beginning of the story is the Oz bunny. We don't know that until later in the story, but this Oz was specifically created by Lacey to protect Alice. And I feel like a lot of people will say that they ship Alice and Oz, and that's perfectly fine. The reason that I don't personally ship them, even though I want to, is because it just doesn't make sense to me. Oz was specifically made to protect Alice, and though that's very cute and very sentimental, I feel like it's also sort of weird that Lacey created Oz and that Lacey is also the mother of Alice, and it kind of makes them seem more like siblings than love partners, but you can take it however you want. I'm not going to criticize anyone for shipping them, specifically because they do share a few kisses throughout the books, and I don't want to be pressuring anybody to see it a certain way. It's just personally why I don't see it that way. But Oz was created to protect Alice, and anything that Alice is in danger, so when Alice died, he was put into a state of depression. Now, Oz himself, he doesn't know that he's this bunny, because obviously he's living in Jack's body, and Jack went to the different family, the Visalises, and said, I want to replace your son. that's going to be born a stillborn. So Oz is technically not Zai's son. Zai is Oz's father. Well, I guess stepfather? Half-father? Somehow father? Father! Seeing this, Zai does not treat Oz nicely because he knows the truth. He knows that Oz is not really Oz. He knows that Oz is inhabiting Jack's body and that his son is really Jack. And Jack is this awful person who literally set into motion pretty much everything in Pandora Hearts. And if you're still watching this and you didn't read the spoiler warning, I'm sorry, but Jack is literally in it all. He is the reason basically everything happens. And I feel like it's also important to mention, just like I had to mention Gil in Oz's character arc, that Jack is extremely instrumental in Oz's character arc. When Oz finds out that he's kind of Jack, but kind of not really, he goes ballistic, and he does so many things that he wouldn't have done before, specifically basically giving up his life to save people. Because he doesn't want to be like Jack. He doesn't want to have that hanging over him. And when he sees that it's kind of all his fault, that everything is going the way that it is, he feels immense guilt, but also immense peace when he's able to make it right. And the reason I feel that when he met Alice down in the abyss and immediately felt a connection to her was because he knew finally that she was going to be okay. Even though she had died and she had technically committed suicide, he knew that now she's going to be okay and he's finally reunited with her. Anyway, back to Oz not really being Oz. That's kind of the instrumental plot of Pandora Hearts, is Oz trying to figure out why his sin is his very existence. And I feel like that in itself is like the most important thing to know for the plot of Pandora Hearts, is why is Oz the way that he is, and why is his sin his very existence? I mean, from the very first sentence, Oz Vizalius, I pass the chain of judgment upon you. Your sin is your very existence. You get this plot thrown at you, and you're like, what the heck is this going to turn into? And it turns out to be a self-discovery of why Oz is the way he is. And in many ways, Pandora Hearts is a self-discovery. Think about it. Oz is trying to figure out why his sin is his very existence, and why he's tied to Jack, and why Jack is doing all his stuff, and why he's in his mind, and why he's basically controlling him sometimes. Alice is trying to figure out all of her memories, try to put together who she was beforehand, and who the heck Jack is, and why she can remember some things and why she can't. Gil feels that he's very rejected as a servant, and even though he is Oz's best friend, he never feels like he belongs, and he always has to try and figure out where he fits into the story, and he can't remember his background and why he is the way he is and why certain characters hate him, specifically his brother Elliot, and he's just very much torn with who am I and what am I supposed to be to the world and who am I supposed to be to Oz and how can I fit into this family that's not really mine? And whose family do I belong in? Because he used to have a different master, and that was the previous Glenn. And now he has a new master, Oz. So who is he supposed to protect? A lot of the story is dealing with identity. And I feel like that is very important to understand, is that Pandora Hearts is a self-discovery. Up until the very last chapter, when Oz is disappearing into the golden light, he finally understands his purpose, his identity, who he is and who he's meant to be. And since Oz is the main character, the main plot of Pandora Hearts and the main character arc is Oz's and his self-discovery. And I feel like it's just important to understand that Oz's character arc is basically the plot of Pandora Hearts. And even though there are a lot of subplots and there are a lot of detours that you go on and a lot of other characters that you learn about, Oz's self-discovery path is probably one of the most important things to the entirety of the series. So now that I've explained some other things that make up Oz who he is, we can kind of talk about his beginning and end. his beginning was that he was rejected by his father and he never felt like he belonged, and he felt abused and neglected, and he was just left in the house, and he was literally put into a room for like 3 days, and he contemplated his self-existence. Oz a lot of times contemplates why he is born, why he is alive, why he is meant to be in this story. And I feel like it's just amazing that one of the first things that happens is that pocket watch that takes him somewhere and gives him some semblance of an identity. And though it's this strange, mysterious world, and with a very mysterious girl that basically tries to kill him, it still gives him purpose. And I feel like that pocket watch very much represents Oz's character arc, in that he starts with hearing it and feeling connected to something and feeling a part of something. And then later on, it becomes his identity and becomes the reason that he understands why he is Jack and why he is supposed to do what he's supposed to do at the end. So Oz starts in this really dark, deep place. But then, throughout the course of the different manga series, he meets all of these characters and he really learns his place. And through friendship and all the different people that he meets and all the different things that he does, and everyone who says that they appreciate him, most especially Philip. I mean, that discussion that he had with Philip that one time is extremely important to understanding Oz's character. He's so upset that his life is the way it is. But at the end of the whole series, he is staring in golden light. He is staring at his end, his death, his destruction, his erasing of existence. Oz almost was erased from existence. And when he is staring that in the face, he says, "I can finally cry because I am happy. These tears are not sad. They are happy. I am happy that I got to experience what I did. I am happy that I lived." And at the beginning, he wanted to die. He didn't want to be put into existence. He contemplated his existence. And at the end, when he's literally facing his decimation, his destruction, his literal awash from existence, where he no longer will exist, he says that he's happy because he got to live his life and he got to see how beautiful life can be. And I remember at the beginning of this video, I was talking about Oz, really coming to understand who he is and his appreciation of the world around him. The fact that he came from such a dark place of wanting to not exist to a place where he was literally staring his existence in the face and losing it and still feeling happy shows an immense power. And I marvel at the beauty of it. And that's why the golden light means so much to me, that he literally was looking at it and looking at the beauty of life and existence and realizing just how wonderful it is. And Oz, in this way, is an extremely complex character. And I love his complexity. At the beginning of Pandora Hearts, I was iffy about Oz because though I loved him as a character, I didn't fully appreciate him. And the moment that I started to appreciate him was the moment I realized that he wasn't real. And I feel like that is Oz's reaction as well. The moment he realizes that he's not real, that he's Jack, that he's literally a bunny, is the moment that he begins to appreciate life. And as a reader and reading it and experiencing pretty much the exact same thing Oz did, that means so much to me. That means that Jun Makazuki wrote a beautiful story and that she did her job. You place yourself as a reader as Oz, and you don't really realize it until you see him sitting before Leo. And Leo says that Oz is a decimation to everything that is the world and everything that is to be created. That his existence is the very thing that is making the world terrible in the way it is. And Oz stands before him and says, I understand, and I finally appreciate my existence. And there's a part where he's in his jail cell, and he's talking to different characters, and he talks to Echo for a while, and he basically says these things. And it is just so incredibly powerful that Oz finally came to a place where he realizes that his existence is everything. And even if it's his sin, he will fight for it. And at the end, when he's facing his existence and facing his destruction, he looks at the people that he's loved. And in our lives, that's something we have to do too, is just look at everything and all the people we've touched and come to understand that that is important, that we've done something, that we're not just this being who was tossed around and thrown into all these terrible things, but someone who made an impact. And back to when I was talking about how Gil is such an important character for Oz, when Gil is with Oz, when Oz is about to disappear, Gil is just so torn at the thought of Oz's existence being taken away. But Oz reassures Gil that he finally understands. And I feel like Gil can appreciate that. And that's why, in some ways, he wrote everything down for Oz. So that way, Oz could remember his existence, that Oz's existence wouldn't be forgotten. And that, in itself, is a great way to tell a story. So, thanks, Jun Makazuki, for making us realize how beautiful existence is. I hope this has helped you have more of appreciation for what Oz is. I just want to say, here's my dog Mishka after that big talk. If you want some happiness, here she is. Very cute. Mishka, say hi. She says hi. Anyway, I hope that I've shed some light on Oz's existence and his character arc and the beauty that Jun Makazuki wrote in these stories of the different themes of belonging and existence, which are the keys to Oz's character and his character arc from, contemplating his misexistence to his actual misexistence, his lack of existence, and seeing how beautiful his life really is and how beautiful life itself is. And I hope that you have enjoyed this video. Thank you so much again for all of the views in the Christian imagery video, and for the 101 people who watched the non-spoiler review. I'm thanking you yet again. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Please leave any comments of what you want me to talk about in the future. I always love to hear what you want me to talk about. I can tell by views what you're interested in, but I don't know exactly what you're interested in if you don't tell me. So please let me know below. Also, please like and subscribe these videos so I know which ones exactly you want me to talk more about. If there's a specific Pandora Hearts character that you'd like me to delve more into that's not Oz, because I've already talked about him, please let me know. I know that I would really much like to talk about Gil, so if you're interested in that, please let me know. And literally, if there's anything else you want me to talk about, please let me know that below. I love comments. Please don't spam. Also, I wanted to ask if anybody would be interested. There's a dog. If anyone would be interested in Bungo Stray Dogs, if anybody's interested in that, please let me know below as well. I have watched the anime. I have not read the manga yet. I am sorry. I will get to it. But if you'd like me to talk about anything small in that or the main plot, please let me know that as well. And really, if there's anything, I'm here. I'll talk about it. So please let me know. Thanks and bye. Have a great day. And remember, bunnies.